All right, a couple of months ago, I did a short review on this here protein skimmer. This one's really about the light that I said I would do when I did that review. But just an update on this El Cheapo protein skimmer. It's still working. Had it about a year now. Not really doing a whole lot. Still got some dirty scum in the collection cup, but I mean, my water quality's pretty good. There's not much proteins in the water column, so I guess there's not much to skim. Anyway, let's get on back to the light here. So, what this is, let me hold it up. Ooh, Lord, it just came unplugged. This is a, it says green element. Now, I ordered, and it's got 6 LEDs, pretty big ones too. Now this is I believe it's a 16-inch light. Let me reach down here and get this thing plugged back up again. Because the top of this tank is quite small. This is not, let me step back a little bit. This is a 29-gallon hexagon from the rockin' 1980s. And, you know, it's great for sitting in a corner and kind of getting out of the way. And you know, you never know what to put in a corner. Maybe a ficus tree or a wall lamp or something. Anyway, put the fish tank in here. And I was a little concerned because this is a $30 LED. $30. I got it on Amazon. In fact, I checked it tonight. Today is February the 6th or 7th. No, it's February the 11th, 2020. And it's $29.95 on Amazon. What you do is you type in a search for Reef Evo, REEF EVO LED, and it'll pull it right up. Now there's also one called the Plant Evo, which from this, it looks just the same on the outside. It's just going to say Reef Evo versus Plant Evo. That's what it shows on the packaging, but this doesn't say either one. This says green element. Oh, there he goes. It says green element. Now, if you look at the lights, I don't know how well you can tell, maybe look better in the water. As you can see, there's 2 actinics in the middle, and I believe those are 4 10,000K. Now look, I've got a mixture of SPS, LPS, and some soft corals in here. And that light is bright. Now, I can't tell you that it's going to grow the most finicky of SPS. I don't know that I would be putting in brain corals, for example, but let's look at here what I got. Okay, see that right there? That's chalice coral. Let me look at it from the top. Okay, now that's starting to spread. I mean, it's beginning to spread out all over the place. You probably can make the outline of the original frag that it sat on, and it's an encrusting coral. It is an SPS. If I could go in closer, you could see the little polyps on it. But it's spreading out. It is a coral that needs to be kept horizontal. And it doesn't require the greatest of light, but if you don't have any good light, it's not going to spread and it's not going to do what it's doing. So it's doing just fine. So I know I can grow that. Let's look down here on the bottom. That's called Montipora. That's also an SPS. And I got it propped up on a piece of live rock down there. It was about half the size when I got it. And I set this tank up Thanksgiving, holiday break. I teach school. I was out for Thanksgiving, 2018. I let it set up for about, I don't know, 6 weeks. And I began, after attempting to cycle it, and began putting in the first bio load, which was some snails, maybe a little ugly ghost shrimp or something. It's not carrying a heavy bio load. The main fish in here is a tomato clown and a couple little ugly blue damsels. All right, and also we've got some soft coral. That's just some old plain Jane, ugly brown button polyps, but they're doing just fine. And over here we've got some pallies. Not the most pretty pallies, but you know, soft coral. Got them much closer to the bottom. I don't know if you can see those little zoas there, but I had them way up here on the top of the rocks, and they shrunk up. They began to bleach out. too much light. So I moved them down to the bottom and look at them. They're not really spreading, but they sure are wide. I can turn on the blue lights, I can see them better, but that doesn't show up on the phone very well. Okay, so anyway, we also got, what we got back here? We got a big old LPS, that's a hammer coral. Spread out, big and pretty. Some little cheap Kenya tree, that's a soft coral. Grows pretty well much, even in basic light, but you know, it is photosynthetic, so you're definitely going to have some bright light. Oh, and look at this one here. This is one of my, I think my only LPS. A-cans. See them there? Got their little hungry feeders out tonight. When I bought that about a year ago, there were 2 heads. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe yep, there's a 5th one down at the bottom starting to come up. Okay, so I said all that to you kind of get an idea of the type of coral that's in this tank from a cheap $30 LED. So granted, you know, my water parameters are sitting at basically 0 nitrates, 0 nitrites. Specific gravity about 1.026, you know, where it should be. So I have to give some credit to this light. Now, this is a small tank, it's 29 gallons. But as you can see, the depth from top to bottom is pretty deep. So that light has pretty good penetration. Now this is just a 16-inch light. Say you had a 20 gallon or 29 gallon, you know, just a regular old 29 gallon fish tank. Well, obviously you'd want a bigger light. You'd pay a little bit more, 50, 60 bucks. It'd be about this width. There's my hand. It's about half the size of my hand. But, you know, the strip of light would be considerably longer, wider rather, with more lights in it. And, of course, the depth from top to bottom in a 29 is roughly about the same as what we're looking at here. So, I mean, yeah, it's a cheap Chinese LED. About 1/10 the price of a Kessel. Does it work as well as a Kessel? Well, probably not. I mean, I'd get the tuna blues or whatever if I was trying to do some, let's think, some brain coral SPS, maybe some agriporas, you know, some of the more difficult stuff. But honestly, I mean, you can do more than just some basic button polyps, zoas, maybe Kenya tree. You can actually reach out and do some basic SPS and definitely some LPS. Actually, the ACAN, what did I say? The hammer corals and LPS too. Yeah, the hammer and the ACAN are LPS, the Montipore and chalice are SPS, and then got a couple of softies in there. Anyway, the Reef Evo green element, but make sure you specify Reef Evo, not Plant Evo. I don't know that there's a nickel's worth of difference, to be honest, but whatever this is, however it's working, it is working. And hey, for 30 bucks, I'm satisfied. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.